Cue the music, let's go. I'm your boy Ro, managing editor for the OBB Legend and OG member of the Orange Bowl Boys. And welcome to Legend Talk, the editorial avenue that we'll use to discuss everything Miami Hurricanes. And on this episode of The Talk, two things are dominating the headlines. One, the NIL, and two, the proposed ACC schedule change and what that means to the University of Miami moving forward as soon as potentially 2023. Now, in terms of NIL, I do have a little bit of a controversial take. Jordan Addison, the Bolitnikoff Award winner from a year ago, hit the portal, and I actually feel bad for the University of Pitt. Well, Ro, why would you feel bad for a coastal opponent foe? Because in that NIL market, in the transfer portal, the enticement to go ahead and have that pay-for-play avenue, if you want to call it that, put him in a position where now Pitt, well, they're left scrambling to get the bag. They didn't have the opportunity maybe to have a replacement. This was at the 11th hour. And I think we recently had a conversation with super agent Drew Rosenhaus, and I think we came to the understanding that a lot of the NIL troubles can be mitigated if simply you get the portal under control. Because now teams aren't left scrambling. And there was another essential problem with the NIL as it sits. Drew Rosenhaus eloquently stated that, his experience, he knows what fair market value is for an NFL player. He knows contract salaries going over time and time again, going 20 plus years. He knows the market. He can have one of his players he represents, and he has a pretty firm understanding. But in this case, what is the fair market value? What is the fair market value for someone like Jordan Addison or potential Heisman-winning quarterback like Tyler Van Dyke versus, two stud female basketball players? You're going to have to set this. This is uncharted territory. But it coincides. It's hand in hand. Having that fair market value set, also having the portal fixed. I think that's where you need to go in terms of NIL. Fixing the portal. Now you don't have that solicitation so late. Now you don't have Pittsburgh scrambling to go ahead and find replacements. You're not going to leave your star player vacancy long. So that is something that I think needs to be addressed moving forward. Now, the NCAA, how convenient. The University of Miami has a pretty savvy businessman in John Ruiz who's doing remarkable work with LifeWallet in terms of NIL deals. It's through his business. It is crossing T's and dotting I's. And now they're retroactively trying to say you can't have a solicitation kind of source, and you do not use it to have someone play for school. Well, good luck with that one. So much bureaucracy, so much red tape, so much legal challenge ahead of the NCAA. And it doesn't sit well that Miami's major contributor in the NIL right now, who's been a godsend, is also an attorney who's backed by a legal team of attorneys. Good luck with that, NCAA, but it's nothing new to a Miami Hurricane fan. When we celebrated too much, you made Miami rules. When we seem to dominate the NIL market, you're trying to do it again. So let's shift gears to the second hot topic, and that is, what do you think about this new ACC proposal? Who would your three teams be? Well, my three teams, obviously, number one, and it has to continue, Florida State. Now, I know they haven't had a winning season in a little while, and that series has always been cyclical. Florida State, you won 7 in a row. Miami rebounded, and obviously you had the 4th and 14 from a year ago. That series maybe doesn't have the luster. Now this time it's on Florida State. But regardless, that has to continue. My second choice personally is Virginia Tech. That is an old Big East rival foe that needs to continue. Lane Stadium, enter Sandman. When Virginia Tech has it rolling, that is a hard place to play, and it's good for college football. A late fall, meaningful game against Virginia Tech up in Blacksburg, I'd like to see that continue on an annual basis. And again, at the Hard Rock Stadium when it could be a meaningful game for us. Now, the debate happens, who do you want to have third? Because you could go the Big East former rival, and that is Boston College. Or the new emergence of playing North Carolina. Or Clemson. You have so many different avenues. Or Pitt, because those are always interesting games. The more I thought about this, though, in terms of the ACC brand and elevation of it all, I think it has to be Clemson. I think the three permanent fixtures should be Florida State, should be Virginia Tech, and should be Clemson. Clemson, Virginia Tech, Florida State. Now, does that make the road to win an ACC championship harder? It does. But if Miami truly needs to go where it wants to go, and that's into the playoffs and beyond, you have to beat teams like Clemson on a consistent basis. They have been the flag bearer, the standard for the ACC for years. And yes, they had a little slip up a year ago, and they have a huge turnover in coaching this past year. Brent Venables took the job with his alma mater in Oklahoma. But the University of Miami in the ACC moving forward, to have that premier matchup every year with Clemson, I think could be good for the ACC. I think it could be great for the sport of college football. And that's something that needs to be considered. Now, some of these other schools, North Carolina, obviously you could see them playing a Duke, a Wake Forest every year because they're local and they have those strong basketball ties to one another. But the reality is, it's okay if it's harder for the University of Miami. It always has been. It always will be. I'm your boy Ro, managing editor for the OBB Legend. You stay dangerous, my friends, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bang.